Hey everybody, welcome back to another self-driving video in downtown Chicago. This is a continuation, part 2 of the trip down into the city with 1243. I think everybody hopefully enjoyed the last video where I had a lot of unique experiences. We had the situation where it struggled to get off to a start here to turn it on, and then it turned left here from the wrong lane. That was kind of fascinating, not really what I had expected. And then coming up here to this four-way stop, we had somebody that came and interrupted us. We really should have gone there early, but it hesitated and waited, and then that car took off and we followed right after. Going into the city, we ran into this awkward merge situation. I felt like it was going to cause a collision, but of course I was very attentive, almost took over there. Fascinating experience there. First time I saw a message, of course, we ran into the barrier in Lower Wacker Drive, almost got arrested there. And then coming up here, it almost went through the green light, hesitated for those pedestrians. We had an edge case with a bulb that was actually out on the traffic light there. And then we also had this very interesting situation where we assertively came out and found a gap between these pedestrians. It did the right thing at the end of the day and came through. First of all, before we get started, I wanted to share with you a really cool new product that I have in the back of my Model 3. I have a 2019 Model 3. This product applies to all Model 3s and Model Ys. If you get a brand new Model 3 refresh, you're going to have this back screen built in. But this is a big addition to these older cars, and it really enhances the driving experience for your rear passengers. They can control the air conditioning, they control the heated seats, but most importantly, they can listen to their own music over Bluetooth. They can watch Netflix videos, they can watch YouTube videos, and all sorts of things, even play games in the back of the car during road trips. This is going to be really nice for my upcoming trip to northern Michigan. So check it out. I had a 23% discount code during the month of July that just increased to 25%. So take advantage of it while you can. Go to tlyard.com and use my discount code TechGeek. And again, it applies during the month of July. All right, very happy to be back here. This is part 2. This is filmed downtown Chicago on July 5th, 2024. If you recall from part 1, we had one intervention and one disengagement. Take a look at the route. It goes around this construction, this closed off area with these cranes on the right side. That was brilliant. We are heading west right now, and then we're going to go north on Michigan Avenue. And we've got maybe a block before we end up at Nike Chicago. Now, I really want to delete this waypoint and head over to the Trump International Tower next. So right as I get up to this intersection, I start thinking to myself, maybe I should delete that waypoint right now. Although when I do that, you're going to see here what happens. As soon as I remove it, it forces me to turn left. It's a little bit tricky to see here, but you'll see here in a second. As soon as I close this screen out, see my right turn signal is on, that's correct, but there you can see it very clearly. We are now supposed to turn left. So I freak out thinking there's no way I can get over 2 lanes or 1 lane in time to turn left. So I panic and add it back and shift it all the way to the top just in the nick of time. Left turn signal went on, nobody behind us thankfully, and then right turn signal. And look at this, it's super assertive, goes through here. Even though those people were coming, it goes through. That really surprised me, and I made a little comment there. You could hear the audio in the background kind of saying, because it really, I was shocked that it actually went in that situation. And this is a trend I've observed where it is really assertive. It does things that it previously never would have done. So this is a one-way street here on the right, and you can see my GPS is telling me to go right, but you're going to see here in a moment it doesn't actually go to the right. And I think it's because the previous destination was right up here where that parked car is. It doesn't say that navigation is complete, but look at the path. It's not even trying to go to the right. It possibly threw off the person behind me. It threw me off. I wasn't quite sure what was going on. So it proceeds forward, goes around this car really nicely. Now look at the route planner. It changes direction. So I need to get all the way over there to the left to reroute. but for some reason it goes to the right. So it's confusing me a lot here, and I'm not sure what's going on. This is a one-way street, so now I'm like, very, very confused, and it almost went. I had to disengage. Now, I have to blame myself in this situation, to be completely honest with you, and it shows that there might be a bug with the navigation route planning when you delete waypoints. Maybe a special scenario. I don't know how many people are regularly deleting waypoints in the middle of a trip. So keep that in mind, that that disengagement and that behavior there was probably related to me messing around with the maps. And for that, I have to apologize for everybody, because these destinations, a lot of times I just don't want to pull over, and I don't want to park my car to continue moving forward. So I did report those unusual behaviors, but again, I'm going to take the blame for that one. Coming through this intersection, look at all of the stuff going on. We had a cyclist coming by, we've got a bus, we have pedestrians everywhere, now turning right here, waiting for these people. We've got people walking in both directions. This is the most complicated scenario you can ever put full self-driving through. So the fact that it does so much of this so well, it really impresses me, to be completely honest with you. And there are moments in this video, you'll see one of them coming up, where I just freak out, because it performs so insanely well. And here's the thing. A year ago, I never would have pushed it to the limits like I'm doing right now. You'll see several situations, especially in part 1, where I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, because it really is intelligent. It does the right thing, I'd say, more than 95% of the time. And it's overly cautious, by the way. So I'm constantly looking behind me. That's why you can see the rear camera now kind of expanded at the top. I think that's helpful for everybody to see what's going on. It waits for this lady, which I thought was great. Again, super cautious around people. Look at this bag rolling, my steering wheel. Look at the steering wheel. It jerks to the left just ever so slightly. You can't really see it on film, but I noticed it as I was driving, and that was really, really great. I'm going to be doing some more obstacle detection testing coming up very, very soon, so stay tuned for that in a future video, coming up probably within a week. You can see all these people crossing here. We're going to be going straight here on Michigan Avenue. Now, this is a fascinating stretch. We've got quite a few blocks to travel, and we've got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to point out a lot of things that it does extremely, extremely well. Up here we have the Starbucks Roastery, not on this block, but on the block after. But look at the intersection here. We have quite a gap, but it ends up going straight forward. Now, I don't know how it knew to close the gap. That felt really, really natural. That's what I would have done. The traffic was moving enough, but you'll see here after this next light that it backs up so much that the car actually does not go through the intersection, because if it had gone through the intersection, it would have blocked traffic significantly. So up here is the Starbucks Roastery. I actually believe it's the block after this. And this is the largest Starbucks in the world. It is really fascinating. They have a spiral escalator in the building, and it's like 4 or 5 stories. I think they even serve alcohol there, a lot of different foods. But here's this intersection. Look at this. It's waiting, and it's just not going. I thought the person behind me might honk at me, but they patiently wait. Car does the right thing. That was really awesome to see. It patiently waits. That's exactly what you need to do. That's the courteous thing to do, and that's also the law. You can't block an intersection. Now, do people follow the law? No. Does full self-driving follow the law? Most of the time, yes. which doesn't make people happy a lot of the time. Like, for example, coming to a full stop at a stop sign. That's extremely annoying for human drivers. You can see here, this is the Roastery. There it is on that corner. If you've never been to Chicago, definitely put it on your list to stop in there. Really, really great experience. You can see here this car trying to get over into the right. It's pretty much blocked. Now I start going to the left. You can hear the ultrasonic sensors. Listen. So some cars don't have
the ultrasonic sensors, so you're not going to get those audible beeping sounds, but that is an indicator that I'm getting awfully close to those other cars. Now, how much it actually uses those while self-driving is enabled, I don't know, versus the vision, but it is interesting to still hear those noises. So coming through here, green light, passing through this intersection, and very, very smooth here throughout this entire stretch. But coming up here, this is the most impressive part to me, and it just made me freak out because I was so pleased with how it performed. You're going to see this bus, and you're going to see my car maneuver around the bus. Watch this. Light turns yellow, passes through. Now, look at this situation. It goes to the right for some reason, which is fine. I'm fine with that. And I don't know why, because, I mean, we need to turn right, but it's not until another 1-2 blocks. It's heavy traffic, so it's possible that it anticipated that and knew it needed to get over into the far right lane in advance. But now this bus slows down, and there's a gap. You can see the gap in the middle. There's a car in front and the car right in the left. In the back, excuse me. So this bus slows down. Watch what my car does. This is exactly what I would have done. Exactly what I would have done. Okay, the car behind me gets behind me. Look how smooth that is. That is absolutely phenomenal. You can see my hands kind of go up. I said, that was great. I mean, that was so, I mean, you have to witness this stuff firsthand. I cannot emphasize that enough to really appreciate how incredible these experiences are when it does stuff like that. Unfreaking believable. I'm telling you, you guys have to witness this in person. And if you don't have full self-driving and you have a Tesla, subscribe for a month, $99. Now, I think everybody that is getting a new Tesla, in fact, I did confirm this. One of my friends just picked up a Model Y last week. When you purchase a new Tesla, you get 1 month of full self-driving for free. It's a free trial, which is really great. Although it's scary because once you start using self-driving, it's really hard to go back. I'll be completely honest with you. Now, look at all of this stuff going on here. So many people here on this bridge. So we're going over the Chicago River. Not a lot here, just a ton of people. Well, it's great people watching. I mean, with all of this standstill traffic, I was like looking around. That's one of the great things using this software is you don't really need to pay attention when you're in standstill traffic. You can just look around and casually observe your surroundings and enjoy the environment. You don't need to always worry about having to step on the accelerator when a gap shows up. Now look at this. We're going right here, and you're going to see this car right here. Watch what they do. They cut in front of 2 cars in front of me. The second car in front of me honks rather loudly, and rightly so. That was extremely rude to cut in front, and all those pedestrians crossing. Very dangerous. So my car previously missed this turn and went straight. This seems to be a pattern with 12.4.2 and 12.4.3 where every so often it just misses turns. And you'll see this happen coming up here, turning right to get to the Trump International Tower. I don't know if you call it a tower or a hotel. I think it's actually the Trump International Hotel. So this is the situation where right turn signal is on. We're going to be turning on North Wabash Avenue, and it just completely misses it. Now, I don't know why it does this, but this has happened before, and it happened when you had a lot of pedestrians just previously in this. So this is unfortunately a disengagement because it was going to miss that turn entirely, and I had someone right on my tail there. So I go ahead and report that, and we proceed forward. Now, this is a red light, and funny story here. I'm debating, by the way, should I delete the destination for the Trump Hotel now or wait? And I decide to delete it now, hoping that it doesn't reroute significantly. So let's take a look at the reroute, just make sure that that lines up correctly. At this point, It does. It's going straight, but then it's going right, which is different from every other test I've done to get to the Chicago Theater, which is next here. I actually forget that there was a traffic light there, and I was about to run the red light. So thankfully I didn't. Now take a look at this. There's a car on the left. They're trying to turn, and I almost gave them the opportunity, but it was blocked. They couldn't really go. Someone behind me got impatient. They probably didn't see that car, as I didn't really either. But that's just incredible. Another perfect example of full self-driving seeing things where the human driver just doesn't really notice it. So I did have to step on the accelerator there to get through that area. So I'm looking at this route, and it's kind of bothering me because this is not the same that I always used to take. And you can see I get a little message on the screen, pay attention to the road. And that's just because I'm like trying to figure out. I'm looking at the screen way too much right now. Thankfully, no strikes with this version yet for me, and I haven't had a strike in a while. So I insert the Chicago Theater here again, hoping that it might give me an alternative route, because sometimes it'll give you options, and it didn't. So I delete it again, and I manually add the Chicago House of Blues in so that I can take the route that I've always taken before. So if you watch a lot of my other videos of driving here with self-driving in downtown Chicago, this is the same route. I get right here, someone right on my tail. I need to press forward. I need to get into the intersection. And by the way, this is the car that honked at me previously, so I don't want to really irritate them any more than I need to. So I did step on the accelerator there. Coming forward here, this is a tricky scenario. I haven't had an issue here in a while, but previously it would hesitate just like it did in that previous intersection to push itself out far enough into the intersection, gaining confidence for the people behind me. But look at this. It goes straight forward. Even though there's all these people crossing, it goes straight forward. So this is part of what I think has been corrected, where it pushes itself into the intersection, but then every so often it just gives up and tries to go straight. And that path planner doesn't even show that it's going to turn sometimes. So hopefully that gets addressed in the future, because missed turns end up in reroutes and extra time, and a lot of people just don't have the patience for that. So here I delete that House of Blues, and now it's heading straight to the Chicago Theater. You can see here this bus, I don't know who's honking at who here. And I've replayed that section multiple times, and I still don't know who's honking at who. But it goes around really skillfully. No issues there. Overall, this drive had 3 interventions and 3 disengagements. I, wasn't all that disappointed with it. There were some moments where it was just like, yes, that was incredible, and then others that it was a little bit of a letdown. But all in all, I'm very impressed with how this version is operating. And in the suburbs, it's like butter. Like I seriously don't have any issues, and I'm very rarely filming up there. I want to give a huge shout out to Thomas Williams for joining my Patreon. Thank you so much for contributing. I really appreciate you. If you want to support me, please check out my Patreon. The link's in the description. I give insider tips, a lot of information, and chat and direct messages. A lot of cool stuff in there. Thanks to all of you for your support.